Hey everyone, it's Virgil back on another video, and today I want to go over the top 6 epics I think are amazing for dungeon progression. With an addition of new stage 13 and 14 dungeons, a lot of characters definitely need that 6-star in order for you to progress, and also getting that extra tankiness, or just they're really good with 6 stars. So if you do like the content and want to see more, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's jump right into it. So the first one I'm going to suggest, and this one should be no surprise to all of you, she's on my top 5 epics list. It's going to be Santis. With the additional stage 13 and 14 dungeons, she oftentimes will need that 6th star to survive on stage 14, unless you have some really good gear, as well as a 6-star for stage 12 as well, again, unless you have really good gear. It also helps that she's 6-star for Ash 14. She can be used for Tulpa. Not sure about 14, I've not seen 14 Tulpa yet, but she's also used for Gemini, for Witch. She's just an absolute amazing character and absolutely worth the 6-star for dungeon progression, because she's going to be used in every dungeon. She's going to need that 6-star to survive. Even though she doesn't really get anything in regards to damage for her 6-star, she really just needs it for that tankiness boost in order for her to basically land all those poisons and really be that monster dungeon carry that she is. So the next one up is going to be Hakron, and again, this one should come to no surprise for a lot of you. Hakron is a monster and is going to be used in almost every dungeon. Once again, he's going to be excellent in Queen, especially for your first clear and your Queen 14 clear. I'm using him currently. He can be used in your Ash 14 clear from a couple of comps I've seen out there. He can be used in Tulpa. He can be used in Witch, he can be used in Gemini, and honestly, he's almost essential to most of those comps because he provides so much tankiness for your squad that without him, your whole squad just dies. It's pretty rough. And 6-starring him will give you that bunch of extra defense that you could share with the rest of your squad. And so it's very, very important that you 6-star him so that you can share that extra defense for your squad and allow you to reach kind of tankiness levels that were unachievable before. Very, very important character here in Hakron, and will honestly skyrocket your initial progression if you do versus if you don't have him. Now, this is the third one, and it's going to be Nathalia. Now, Nathalia is a little interesting because she's really only exceptionally used for Ash, but she's so critical for Ash 14 and Ash 12 that she is essential that you have her. Otherwise, it's incredibly difficult to make a comp out of her. So I think she's absolutely amazing 6-star in general. If you just go outside of dungeons, she's going to be one of your best damage dealers in the game. She's going to be used in a lot of different game modes, but for dungeons specifically, she can be used in Queen, she can be used in Witch, and she can be used in, not really in Tulpa, but she's going to be used in Ash, Queen, and Witch. Not necessarily for Witch 14, but for Queen 14 and Ash 14, you can absolutely use her in specific comps. Now, for Ash 14, the reason why she's so important is because for you to clear out Ash 14 and even Ash 12, you need to clear out all the imps. So you need a water AoE damage dealer, and there's only a few out there. There's going to be Hydrissia, there's Ciara, there's Molhex, and there's Nathalia. But honestly, all 3 of the other ones do not really compare to the damage that Nathalia can put out. And you're on a clock. You need to kill out the imps before they go ahead and hit you, or before the boss goes ahead and uses cannon. Because if either of those things happen, you usually just go ahead and die. So Nathalia is very, very critical for you getting those clears on Ash. And also, again, as I mentioned, she can be using Queen 14, although that one is much more niche than using her in Ash. So at number 4, we have Zaxal, and this also one should be, that's not really a big surprise to a lot of you, because Zaxal is a monster, especially for this Queen 12 and Tulpa 12 and those types of things, speed dungeons. He is essential, but even in 14 and Queen 14, he can actually be used in my comp currently, actually, to clear out Queen just at all. The problem with Queen 14 is that you need to clear out the wave before they get to their second turn, or CC them so they can't use their second ability, because if they do, you're basically going to get it one shot because of how much damage rolls in. Zaxal helps us clear out the waves before that even happens because of his ultimate, and obviously he's going to be used in a lot of other areas of the game, especially early on. So he's an absolute amazing 6-star for your dungeon progression, especially for that Queen dungeon progression. I do want to mention that Queen and Ash are the most important dungeons for you to progress in to have a really nice, well-rounded account. And so characters that can help you clear those 2 dungeons are massively, massively more weighted than characters that perhaps can clear out Tulpa, or can clear out Witch, or even can clear out Gemini, which is really just Gengello. So just keep that in mind as we're going through the rest of them. So after the initial 4, the amount of epics that are really viable in dungeons drops off significantly. And so at number 5, we have Oreck here. And I don't think Oreck is bad at all. He's an excellent Tulpa killer. The problem is I don't think Tulpa is generally worth farming. But if you want to go ahead and farm some Tulpa, or even just have a solid single target high nuking character, go ahead and build out Oreck and 6-star him. Now this one I do want to put a little asterisk on because he is for Tulpa, and Tulpa is not that worth farming. But his 3rd skill, being it based off of max HP, is massive, massive for Tulpa. The biggest damage dealer for Tulpa, and honestly essential for most Tulpa 12 and 14 clears. So there's Oreck at number 5. And number 6 might surprise you here because I think he's my favorite character on the list. Now at number 6, we have Virgil. And this one might come as a surprise for a lot of you, but even though he's inconsistent and he doesn't really seem like a dungeon character, he actually is super, super massive for dungeon clears. Now, previously on stage 12 dungeons, we were experimenting with him in Queen 12 and Ash 12 and even Gemini 12. But with 14, he's actually become even better, in my opinion, because a lot of the times you're running those slower comps, and Virgil, to be honest, is a little bit of a slower type character. He doesn't offer insane burst damage. He's going to be going ahead and applying slow debuffs that will eventually do a ton of damage over the long course of the fight. Now, he's super, super solid in Queen 14. He's in my current Queen 14 comp. I've seen him used in some Ash 14, although I don't think they're 100% comps. I've used him in Ash 12, in Queen 12. He honestly comes in and is just a massive carry for a lot of those situations. Now, I do want to mention that the epic pool in general is very, very slim at this point. So yes, he is more close to the fringe side of things, but I do think he earned a spot on this list just for how much I've actually enjoyed using him. And really, I feel like he needs a little bit of explanation onto why he's on this list, because he's honestly the one that I think a lot of people might question. And the first thing is, he has a chance to do a 20% max HP boss hit randomly throughout the battle, because he has a chance to put 40% chance to put Arcane Sanction, and then when the boss uses a skill, or anyone uses a skill, they're going to take 20% of their max HP in damage, which is huge. That's essentially 6 procs of poison, or about 7 procs of poison on this one skill. It can happen every time if you get lucky. And also the silences and things like that come in handy for Queen 14. And the Dispel on basic is actually huge for Queen and for Gemini if we can get him to work in there. So honestly, Virgil takes the number 6 spot for me and is just a massive, massive carry for a lot of certain comps that I've been running recently. Very, very impressed by Virgil here. Now, I really quickly want to mention a couple of characters that are good enough at 5 stars to be amazing in dungeons, don't need the extra tankiness or extra damage. First one's going to be Celestial Cain. He unlocks some Ash comps that allow you to abuse the fact that a boss is going to sacrifice 50% HP and one-shot you with the invincible, but so you don't get one-shot, basically. Second one is going to be William here. William is super, super tanky already. You do not need him at 6 stars. Even in Ash 14, I found that 6 stars is oftentimes way, 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 way more than you actually need for him. So you don't even need to 6-star him for pretty much anything. And then the next one and last one is going to be Akubi. Now, I don't think Akubi is especially good, but I do think he has a couple of places in Queen and Gemini, although I think that generally Vluk can replace him. But I did want to mention him just really quickly as someone that you could build up and use in some of the comps there. Now, there's obviously a ton of legendaries and a ton of elites that are very, very good in dungeons in general. And I could go through all of them, but it would take a very, very long time. So definitely for a future video, if you all want to see it, let me know in the comments down below, and also by liking it and subscribing to the channel. And that'll be it for this video, and I will see you for the next one.